Hi, Bo here from High Tech Investment, and in this video we're going to talk about the Money 3 EA. It has been a few weeks since we did our last one, and that was not really very good news here. So as the developers took a bit of a hit, so on the EA back then, we were lucky enough to avoid that, and we also showed you exactly what happened. Here we have a bit of a disaster on our hands, if you haven't noticed. So we are in a bit of a financial crisis that started off over in the US and has now spread also to Europe. It has hit the Money 3 EA this particular week. We're going to go in and have a look at exactly how it has done that. But at the same time here also, we can now reveal some even more concerning news here also, as we have gone through the individual trades that we are using for demo trading up against what the developers has. And for sure, the results will definitely shock you. It shocked us, and normally we are not that easy to shock again. But it has shown definitely some things that seems to be completely off on this particular EA. And we're going to go and show you everything of it. So make sure that you follow it all the way to the end, because there's quite a few technical details in here that we're going to try and break down exactly so you understand exactly what has happened. Now, if we just take a bit of look back here, so in the last 10 days, then the Forex roller coaster started basically 10 days ago. It started off over, so in US, so with the Silicon Valley Bank. And there was a bit of a run on the bank itself here that basically had the authorities come in here and basically take it over, so and close down the bank. It opened up again last week here. But obviously it's now under big scrutiny, and on top of this, that also had an effect on a European bank here, Credit Suisse. The stocks for that particular one dropped also about 30%. Since then it has recovered, and now we even hear about the second US bank that is also in trouble. A lot of the major banks has now gone in and tried to basically recover, so to make sure that they don't go under. Now let's have a look just on the website itself of what we have so far with the Money 3 EA, so you can see where we come from. So when you enter the website for the High Tech Investment here under the Money 3, it's going to look like this. And in the beginning here, we have a bit of documentation on what the Money 3 does, how it trades, and also how the developers are reporting a win rate of over 90%, which is obviously one of the reasons why we wanted to test this out. We also do posting, so you can see we started off in January and had a fairly good profit, 2.8, 2.9 on two different brokers that we had in here. And February we saw slightly lower, so 2.4 and 2.1 on the two different broker accounts. On top of this, we now have made 3 videos in here, basically explaining exactly what it does and some of the results that we have gotten out of it again. And on top of this, we also do weekly reporting. So you can see week 7, 0, 8 is also 0%. Week 9, we started to have some trading going on again, not much. And it was very different for the two different broker accounts that we have tested. And now for week 10, we are once again, so at 0. And in week 11, we have taken some major hits, and we're going to go and have a closer look at it. So down here, these are the 2 links that you can basically enter. So one for the Blaze FX Blue link, and the other one here is the IG, so broker link. So also for FX Blue, you can go in and obviously check and verify the numbers that we're going to go through here today. Now we have then taken a copy part and basically blown it up so it's easier for you to see exactly what is happening. The older trades up here is all in green, and we have covered those in previous videos, as I showed you here on our website, including the ones also in green. You can obviously watch those videos and you'll find more information about this back then. We also have a green one at the Euro USD at the bottom here, and those we can basically ignore because they seem to be consistent both on the IG and the Blaze broker up against the developers. So the ones that we're going to focus on here is the marked red ones here, so which is some trades that we don't see on the Blaze broker. And then the other ones, the orange here, is the ones where we are basically taking a loss on these 3 trades here, Aussie Swiss francs and USD Swiss francs. But let's start off with the red ones here. This is also in New Zealand. And these are very quick trades. As you can see, it's on the 26th of February. So after this particular time, you can see 10th of February, we had 2 weeks where nothing really happened. And this one here starts 4 seconds after 11 and finishes 2 seconds later with a loss on this. We have another half an hour later. So it's going to do another buy again here on the Aussie New Zealand. And it closes 3 seconds later also on this particular one with another loss. 15 minutes later again, it sets another one here, and 2 seconds later it closes. Overall, we're going to lose 18 basically dollars on this particular one, and it doesn't show up on the Blaze broker, and we'll show you that in a minute here. So very, very strange setup. So overall, and we're not really sure what exactly happened here. Now on top of this, we also have the Euro Swiss francs, and this one starts off on the 27th. So this is after all these are closed, as you can see. It starts off again with the 0.2 lot size, as it always does. And then it goes against it, and then it opens up another one further down the line here at 0.34 lots. The price recovers enough, and we do a win on this particular one, and overall it then means that we are just getting $17–18 in, which basically covers what we had up here before. And then those trades are closed. But the issue we have with these ones is obviously these is not anywhere to be found on the Blaze broker account at all. Now on top of this, we then go in and have a closer look and see at the Aussie Swiss francs. And the first account that we have here goes all the way back where we had one open, which was from the 3rd of February. And you can see it closed actually more than a month later, so a month and 10 days. And during that period of time, so after the 6th of March, it opened a second one, again 0.34. And then on the 9th of March, 0.58. And all of them here closed off at the same time, 9:35, because it hit the 30% mark that we have set up. And we're going to go back to the settings in a second. The US Swiss francs also here closed up, did another deal here on the 10th. And basically that was while all these three was open already. And that also went against it. As we mentioned here before, the Swiss franc lost a lot of value and went down to some of the lowest it has been all the way back to 2014. It set another buy in here, and that also went south. So that means that on the 10th, we basically had these three open, plus these two. And then on the 13th, we came to more than 30% of our entire account. And that's the setting we have. And that means that the EA will basically close everything up here. So that we understand. And that part is obviously our fault or our settings that we have done this. Now, if we go to the next part, so which is the Blaze broker. So again, all the green ones up here, don't really have to worry about. We covered them in previous videos. Also, the green one down here, as you see, is also the same. Quick look at the orange part. You can see the Aussie Swiss francs. It makes up the same trades. We also have 3 trades here, and we also have 2 trades on the US Swiss francs. So all these are matching up with what you just saw before. Now, what doesn't match up here is the New Zealand US dollars, and you can see the New Zealand CAD that has come in here. Overall, there is 7 trades, and those trades, again, this is the gap that we have. So the 2 weeks of non-trading where everything has been closed. We can see that this one here is the only one that carries over. So from February is the only one that is open at the time. So this doesn't change or block so any of these new trades. You can see one is opening at 12 o'clock and it switches off 1.5 hours later, basically with a win. And then as soon as that happens, it opens up another one in the same second and let that one run too. And another win. And also here for the New Zealand here, again, 10 minutes later, it does another sell in this particular case on the New Zealand US dollars, cashes in another $20. So looks very good. And again here, right after, we have another one in the same second. One closes, the next one opens. It only stays open for 4 minutes and cashes in one more time. So really good trading, of course, very happy with this. And then it starts off with the New Zealand cat, so which then later in the evening on the 1st of March here, so 10:15, and then it finishes the next day here, so only open for a couple of hours again with another win, a bit lower this time around. But again, this is because it's different currencies, so different targets at the end of the day. New Zealand US dollars, it opens up another one here on the 1st of March, and also this one here is open for less than 24 hours and closes off with a win, which is great. And again, the New Zealand cat in here. So we also see that particular one on the 2nd of February, and it closes 5 hours later with another win. Now, none of these, as you can see here, is on the IG broker. We have completely different results. We don't have these trades at all with the Blaze broker here, and vice versa. So that is obviously very, very strange. So, and something that we wanted to have a look into. We have a look at the orange ones again, and as I mentioned, they line up quite well. So in between the two. Now the EA settings that we have here, and we have mentioned those before, you find more details on exactly that in the videos we previously done. We have a lot size 0.2, so which is on the low side for this particular one. And last time when we did a video, it was about the developers basically crashing their EA. And that was with some of the settings that you saw before. We survived that particular part because they had 20% set for theirs. We had 30. Obviously, we don't know how many max orders that the developers has, but we set ours at 5, which is basically the standard one that we set out with. And so far that has worked out. But as you can see, the stop loss balance is the overall. So if we go 30% below what our balance was, so on either broker accounts here, it will close all of the trades, and that's exactly what it has done. So that particular part seems to have been working okay. Now, when it comes to the lot sizing, again, this is from the manual itself. Here it describes that if you have $3,000 to $5,000, and we run the low risk down here, and we have a $10,000 account. So basically what we do is that 5,000 times 0.1, that is basically 0.2. So we're doing the low risk version, and even that one blue, so very quickly. So obviously not the best results after only a couple of months. Now we wanted to have a closer look also to see now, because as there's more and more trading going on, we obviously starting to understand exactly part of the system with the money tree also and the EA itself on what is happening, and easy enough to figure this one out now. We just take the Aussie Swiss francs that we saw on the IG one, but not on the Blaze broker here. The lot size goes, as you can see, from 0.2 to 0.34 and then to 0.58. And the difference here in between the two was 0.14, and in between the next one, 0.24. At the end of the day, you figure out that actually the percentage that the EA is going for is an increased lot size of 70% every single time. So that one is easy enough to figure out, and obviously now that we know, we can then accommodate for that also in the future. Now on top of that, we also wanted to have a look and see if there was any difference. So on the grid size itself, because they do mention it's not a grid, and we can see here the original price when the first trade was set. So 0.64368, and then the next one was set down here, so 0.62849, and then the difference is here. And after that we can see the third one, and that is basically a smaller grid, so the grid is not getting bigger. In this particular case it got smaller, so top to bottom that was the movement overall that we had on this particular currency pair. So it just gives us a bit of an indication of how it works. Obviously we can't really say that this is the grids that are in there, because if you have a look at it, it is quite interesting to see that when it sets some of the prices, it's basically set at 4 o'clock, so basically on the full hour, and again here at 12 o'clock. So there seems to be some time concept also built into this somewhere. And we see the same thing here, again, also 8 o'clock. So here it is a bit delayed for some reason, but a lot of these is basically set up around some kind of clock. So if this is built up against some of the news that are coming out, it could be, because that's what developers has told me earlier on, that they're saying they are trying to take advantage of some of the news that are coming out. So from both US, Europe, and Asia overall. So those are the things that we have found out with the EA here. Now, if we then have a closer look again on the EA broker, so then it becomes very interesting, and we have marked this up a bit differently this time around. So just remember again here, the red line we have here is basically the 2 weeks where no trades were happening. And after that, we have the yellow ones down here. So those are the losses. And obviously, those are similar to both the broker accounts. And then we have the rest of the red dots here, which is the place broker that it has set, and also down with the Euro USD. So the next part here is basically go to the developer's website to see how this matches up. So with either the IG or the place broker. So now what is the first thing we're going to do? Well, we're going to go to my FX book from the developer side here to check it out and see exactly what has happened. And if we have a closer look at it, we can see that this is the previous one where they failed and basically had a bit of a drop. So where they lost 20% on the trading capacity here, and that's what we covered in the video. And then after that, it looks like no losses. We then have a closer look at the balance in here. And again, we can see there's some previous ones. This is back from January. This is again from February, so the one we reported earlier on. And after that, it again looks like no losses. We have a look at the profits tab, and again, same thing here, basically 3rd of February. They made a massive loss, as you can see, went from 71,000 on the account down to 56. And after that, only profits, and basically recovered everything that they had in here. We have a look at the drawdown, and some of the drawdowns we had in here. These are the ones we reported earlier on, so early February, and also here 9th of February, so some of the last ones. And since then, we have had some minor ones, 6% and 3.6. At least that's what they are saying. So, and if we then go and have a look closer, we can see this week, they made 1.25% or $866 on the account. This month, they made 21.37% or $12,336. So obviously, again, very, very interesting. And if we have a closer look at the overall, we can also see in here that yes, February was a bad month for them, and March looks like they made 21%. And that is despite that we just had a huge loss in here. And obviously, you also saw we had a slight loss on a couple of the other accounts, which doesn't seem to show up anywhere here. Now, if we have a look at the trades themselves, so in here, you can see that these are the different currencies that was traded in that particular case. And again, it doesn't say anything about Swiss francs in here whatsoever. So the only thing we can now do here is go and have a look at the history itself. And that's what we did. Basically, we are taking this part here out and dissecting it for you. So once more, I'll just turn your attention to what we had on our Blaze broker, because now we're only comparing the developer's results up against the Blaze broker accounts. So we put aside the IG broker completely because they say this is the one we have to use in order to get the right results. Okay, no problem. The red dots again here is the same ones as you saw in the email. And it is also confirmed, and I will show you that in a second, that these also match up. So with the developers ones, these were the ones again that was set on the 1st and 2nd of March. And after that, obviously we have this one trade that has been open since February, but the rest was after opened, and we also have another one open on the 10th of March, and the last one we are not really interested in. So this is now the one that you saw just before, and we just marked and highlighted them up again. This time around, the bottom has just been turned around, so the ones below the red one here is the one we previously has discussed and don't really have an issue with. And then these with the red dots are the same ones as I just showed you here on the Blaze Broker, exactly the same. You can see the times that we had them here, and they start from the bottom and go up. So that's the only difference. Here, 1st of March again, and then 2nd of March, you have them all coming in. And that also seems to be confirmed. You can see the starting point and the finishing point. And again, have a look. Most of the ones, they seem to go with 12 o'clock, 13:45, 22:15, 15:30, so on and so on, except for one or two in here. But, and this is now the scary part that comes in, that anything above the blue line, and these are all from the developer's site. This is all part of their confirmed and certified site. They seem to have all these trades in here, both buy and sell on US Japanese, British pounds USD, Euro USD, and they're all set. You can see there's been a week where there has been basically no trading, so it doesn't mean that we had so many trades we couldn't be in on these. We only had one trade open at that particular time, and yet all the developers seems to have made a lot of money with this EA. So except that, never translated over to our Blaze account or our IG account for that matter. And that is a really scary thought when you have these two things that are not really matching up. So the question is, what is it good to have a track record which is verified, as you see here? So double verified, or whatever you want to call it. If it just shows the developer's progress and it doesn't show the actual EA correlating to all the other traders that are there too. So this is a huge concern. So for me, especially when this is a black box EA and it seems to be trading differently, 4 different brokers now, and also even within the developers themselves that both have the same broker, we end up with 2 completely different results. So as you saw, we can see that the developers, yes, they took a hit in February. We didn't, and there was a good reason for that, because our setting was a bit larger. We had 30%, where the developers only had 20%. But this is the fear factor here, that they seem to have made a lot of money here. So for the month of March, and they seem to have done a lot of trades that we simply can't find on our IG broker, and we can't even find it on the Blaze broker. All we have is a bunch of losing trades. And that is basically the results that we have for week 11 on the Money 3 here. Minus 3,198.48, or minus 29.8%. And IG is very similar, 3,148, or minus 29.34% on the Money 3. So definitely nothing seems to add up on those different brokers, or in between our EA and the developers' ones. So now that we have shown you all the proof, all the different data, I'm sure you are just as shocked as we are here. We have been trading this EA. We've been seeing some of the same trades. Basically, they are very easy to compare. So up against the IG broker and the Blaze broker, and they have been basically paired up all the way through. We can also see that previously they have worked quite nicely. So together with the developers broker and developers numbers, and we went in and understood why ours didn't crash when the developers did. But these particular data and numbers simply doesn't make any sense to us at all, because we did not have so many trades open here that we couldn't have been in on the profitable ones. And we also would like to understand exactly why we took all these trades on the Swiss franc, when there was no indication on the Blaze broker, and there was basically absolutely no indication on the Blaze broker on the developer side for all this. So very, very confusing. So yes, okay, we lost part of this, but the fact that the developers didn't take the same trades here at all, even though we had exactly the same broker, and then on top of that, they seem to have had a lot of good trades instead that we were not in on. So having an EA that trades completely differently from anything that developer says, then it doesn't really matter if they have FX Blue, if they have another site which is double certified and verified. If you're not taking the same trades as the developers, and we can definitely prove that with this particular video here, it is basically useless. And yeah, I'm not exactly sure what to say at the moment. I will be reaching out to the developers themselves here. But if we would have been in here with real money behind this, we would definitely go in and have a closer look and a talk with them. And I'm sure also if people have had real money in this, they might even want to sue them. Because obviously this is absolutely unheard of, that you can have so different results. So on a robot that makes so little trading in the first place, as you know, we do a lot of other trading, and we do even copy link trading, and that works one-on-one every single time. So very concerning video for us here. We will reach out to the developers, but this is a great concern and nothing that I've ever seen before. So please give us a comment and a like below here also if you have been trading this. If you have taken a loss, or if you have different trades also compared to us, please give us a comment on this particular one, or write us an email. So if this is easier for you, we really want to know how exactly your money tree has been trading, and which trades that you've been taking, the one from the developers, the one from our Blaze broker, or did you also end up with the same as we had on the IG part? So obviously very, very confusing, and we hope that you can help us try to bring a bit more clarity to all this. And we will also hope if the developers wants to comment on some of these findings we have. So I hope to see you on the next video we're going to make on the Money 3. Otherwise, you will hear from us also on the weekly news reports. Bye-bye.